Welcome back to Success with Steven. My name is Steven Smith. On this channel, we discuss all things financial literacy. Today, we're going to discuss a credit repair tool that's helping people challenge collections, late payments, charge-offs, and inaccurate negative accounts without paying a credit repair company hundreds or even thousands of dollars. And the best part is, this isn't about begging a credit repair company to do the work for you, and this isn't about sending some random dispute template that you found online. This is about using a real system with smart technology to analyze your credit report, find dispute opportunities, create custom dispute letters, and help you take control of the process yourself. This tool is called Rising, and I wish that something like this existed when I was trying to fix my own credit. Now, around 2020, my credit score was a 426. And I remember trying to apply for credit cards and getting denied over and over again. And I'm not just talking about premium cards with airport lounges, travel credits, and all the fancy benefits. I'm talking about regular credit cards. I was even getting denied for secured credit cards at one point. That's when you know your credit is in bad shape. But I finally pulled my credit report and saw that I had charge-offs, collections that I didn't even realize were on there, and even an account that looked like it could have been connected to some identity theft. Now, at the time, I didn't know what I was doing, but I was learning by trial and error. I was trying to figure out what worked and what didn't work and what the bureaus cared about and what they completely ignored. If I had a system like Rising back then, it could have saved me months of confusion, frustration, and wasted time. So in this video, I'm going to break down why credit disputes fail, why traditional credit repair companies are not always the best solution, and how the credit bureaus actually process disputes. And also how Rising helps you approach credit repair in a smarter, more organized, and more strategic way. And by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how to start using Rising to clean up your credit report, even if your credit looks terrible right now. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. Most people think credit repair comes down to writing the perfect dispute. They believe that there's some magical sentence or some secret legal phrase or some hidden loophole that makes credit bureaus delete negative items instantly. But that is absolutely not how this works. The truth is, when you send a dispute to the credit bureaus, your complaint is not being reviewed carefully by a real person examining documents and saying things like, wow, this consumer really has a point. That's what we would like to believe is happening, but in reality, a lot of disputes are processed through an automated system. One of the systems commonly discussed is called eOscar. Now, this system helps the credit bureaus process disputes electronically and categorize complaints and communicate with furnishers, which are the banks, lenders, debt collectors, and companies reporting this information. Now, here's the problem. The system is not designed to make credit repair easy for you. It's designed to process massive amounts of disputes fairly quickly. Credit bureaus receive thousands of disputes monthly, with Equifax alone processing approximately 765,000 disputes each month. They're not trying to spend hours personally investigating every single dispute. So instead, your disputes get scanned, categorized, coded, and then sent off for verification. That's why so many people get those generic copy and paste responses. So you send a dispute explaining something is wrong. Then you get a response that says the account was verified as accurate. And then you're just sitting there confused because you know that something is wrong, but the bureaus basically tell you, we checked it and it's staying. And that's one of the most frustrating parts about credit repair. It's not always about whether you're right. Sometimes it's about whether your dispute is strong enough, specific enough, and properly structured and backed by the right arguments. And that is where most people lose. They either send disputes that are too generic, too vague, or completely disconnected from the actual reporting issue on the account. They might say something like, this account is not right, when the better argument should have been about the incorrect reporting dates, missing information, inconsistent balances, unverifiable account details, or violations that actually show this information is not reporting correctly. That's why just sending basic disputes is not enough anymore. You need to have a good strategy. Now let's talk about credit repair companies, because I know some people watching this have already tried hiring one. Maybe you paid $99 a month. Maybe you paid $150 a month. Maybe you paid even more than that. And what happened? For some people, maybe they got a few results, but for a lot of people, they paid month after month and barely anything changed. I've seen people spend thousands of dollars with credit repair companies only to get maybe 1 or 2 items removed from their credit report after a year or more. And here's the part that bothers me. A lot of these companies know the system is difficult. They know that bureaus reject a lot of disputes. They know that generic verbiage doesn't actually work, and most disputes sent out on someone's behalf will be thrown out as frivolous. But instead of building a smarter process, they keep using the same old templates. They charge you every single month, they send out a few basic dispute letters, they wait for the bureaus to respond, and then tell you the account was verified. Then they send another round, then another round, then another round, and meanwhile you're just paying for nothing. And because you don't see the process behind the scenes, you don't know if they're really customizing anything. You don't know if they're analyzing your full report, and you don't know if they're targeting the right accounts first. And that's the problem with giving away control of your credit repair process. You're hoping that someone else cares about your credit as much as you do. And let's be honest, nobody is going to care about your credit more than you do. That doesn't mean you should do everything blindly. It means that you need the right tools so that you can make better decisions. And that's exactly what Rising will do. Now, before I show you how Rising works, you have to understand something very important. Bad credit is not just a personal problem, it's a business model. When your credit score is low, lenders can charge you higher interest rates and offer you worse terms. They also can require larger down payments or deny you for their best products. They can also push you towards the more expensive options. So for example, let's say that two people apply for the same $30,000 auto loan. One person has excellent credit and qualifies for a low interest rate of 3.39%. The other person has damaged credit and gets stuck with a much higher interest rate of 29.99%. Now, these are two very extreme examples on opposite ends of the spectrum, but the difference is massive. Over a 60-month loan term, the person with excellent credit would pay around $2,656.55 in interest, while the other person with damaged credit would end up paying around $28,225.06 in interest. Now, that is completely crazy. And this might sound like some made up example, but those were actual interest rates that I had on two different auto loans at two different points in time. Same amount borrowed, same type of loan, same type of payment commitment for the terms, but my credit score was lower and I ended up paying almost double for the same car once you factor in the interest. That's why your credit score matters. It doesn't just determine whether you get approved, it also will determine how much approval is going to cost you. And the frustrating part is that sometimes your score is being held down by information that is wrong, outdated, incomplete, unverifiable, or reporting differently across 3 bureaus. That's why you can't just ignore your credit report. You have to know what's on it, you have to know what's being reported, and you have to know how to challenge information that doesn't belong on there or cannot be properly verified. Here's where things start to change. If the credit bureaus and the credit industry are using technology to process information, then why are consumers still trying to fight back with old templates from 2006? That's like bringing a flip phone to a tech conference. Most people are still using dispute methods that are just outdated. They search online for a letter, they copy and paste it, maybe change a few words, print it out, mail it, and hope that something happens. That's why generic templates will usually have a generic response. Rising takes a smarter approach. So instead of giving you a random dispute template, Rising helps you analyze your actual credit report. It looks at information being reported across bureaus and helps identify potential issues, inconsistencies, and dispute opportunities. That matters because every credit report is different between all 3 bureaus. Not to mention that your situation is not the same as mine, so why would everyone have the exact same template? That's where a lot of people go wrong. They think credit repair is one size fits all, and it's really not. Rising is designed to help you create personalized dispute letters based on actual situations, and that is going to make a major difference. So next, I'm going to show you how you can start repairing your own credit with just a few clicks using Rising. Currently, we are on rising.com. So the first thing that you'll want to do is click on Get Started. Now, when you click on Get Started, you will actually be brought to a page where you'll fill out your information and you'll create an account. Once the account is created, you will be asked some questions to verify your identity, and then you'll be able to log in. Now, if you check the link in my description, you will find an option there where you can start a trial with Rising right now for 7 days for only $1. After that, it will go to $39.99. So if you would like to try with that trial link, please click that. It will be down in the description below. Now, once you have signed up for Rising, there are 2 different ways that you can log into your account. You can download the app from the Apple App Store, or you can also download the app from the Google Play Store. Or you can come to the home page and you can click login here. When you click login, you'll want to enter your username and your password. Your username will most likely be your email. Now, when you log on to Rising for the first time, this is the screen that you're going to get. You'll have your dashboard, your credit report review, your dispute hub. You can also do rental reporting, which we'll talk about, as well as utility reporting. You have the My Account option that shows all of your account details. Now, before we actually get into reviewing the report and showing any items that we need to dispute, let's actually go to the game plan that's at the very top. So here you can actually share your score goals. So I can click on get started, and then I can actually choose what my options are. So if I'm trying to repair my credit, build my credit, or both repair and build my credit, I can select that option. So let's say that I want to get, I don't know, an 850 credit score, because I think that's what I want to get. Now it says, what's the motivation behind your credit score goal? You can then choose exactly what you're trying to do. Maybe you're trying to get a new job, or you're trying to actually get a home loan or an auto loan. Pick whichever one that you would like. I'm going to just do boost my financial confidence. And then how soon do you want to reach that goal? Now, they will give you a realistic time frame that you can actually do this. I'm going to select 6 months to 1 year and then update my goals. So there we go. My credit goal has been updated. So for the next step, let's actually get into generating a dispute letter. So it says here, our AI powered letter generator will create dispute letters to make it easier for you to reach your credit goals. Then I'll click on generate letters. So when I do that, it takes me over to the dispute hub. Now I can actually click here to view my credit report. Now there are two ways that you can review your credit report. It's going to be the interactive view and the classic view. Now the classic view is going to give you all your information here. Now for me, my current address will probably be blocked out here, but it will show the last time that my credit report was updated. It'll have my names. It'll have any aliases here, also known as any employer information. And then it'll have all of my accounts, and then it will also have each bureau. So this will be a tri-merge credit report where you can see each bureau next to each other. And when you scroll down, you'll actually be able to see things like your credit history and what's being reported. Now, what's cool is that they have a legend right here that lets you know about any inaccurate information. So if it's current, it's going to have a check. If it's paid as agreed with a zero balance, it'll also have a check. If there's a line going through, that means unknown or no data. If there's a line with an asterisk, that is a gap in the month. If you see 30, 60, 90, 120, that will let you know how late the account is. If you see COL, that means that you have a collection. If you see CO, that means you have a charge off. If you see RPO, that's a repossession. FC is a foreclosure, and VS is a voluntary surrender. Now, in order for us to actually dispute things, I'm going to click on interactive view, and then I'm going to scroll down. Now, this is actually my personal report. I don't have any negative information, but I'll give you an idea about how you can actually start a dispute. Now, normally Rising will identify negative items and take you through a step-by-step process in order for you to generate those disputes. But let me show you how to do it if you manually wanted to make a dispute. So I'm going to click on other accounts, and I'm going to go to my closed accounts. So I have a simple closed account here that I'm going to make a dispute, right? So nothing's wrong with this account per se, but I'm just going to use it as an example. So I'm going to click on the account, right? And then you should see the start dispute button right here. You're going to click on that. Now it's going to ask me how many times have I tried to dispute this account. I'm going to put 0 because I've never done it before. And then I'm going to click on next. Then it's going to ask you to select the reason that you're disputing this account. So you can choose things like this account is not mine or this account is inaccurate. So for this example, let's just say this account is inaccurate, and then we'll click on next. So Rising recommended this option right here. Inaccurate information needs to be corrected. However, that may not be the reason that I want. So I can uncheck that and click on other reasons. Then there's multiple reasons that you can actually search. So if I want to say something like the balance is past due and that's incorrect, like for late payments, or the amounts other than the balance or past due are incorrect. Let's say the credit limit or high balance is incorrect. Payment history, dates, my account is too old to be on my credit report. The account is settled. So you can keep scrolling down. There are many different reasons that you can choose to dispute this account. And then let's say that for whatever reason, you can't find an option that works best for you. You can click on here and provide a specific detail. So this is where I would basically type in whatever I want to put. Okay, so if you want to customize this and use your own verbiage, and you might need this depending on exactly what you're disputing, then you can do that right here. But for this example, let's actually just pick this account is not closed, and then we'll click on next. Now it tells me right here that this will send to TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax. The account is not closed. I can also add specific comments for the bureau. So if I wanted to include any additional details, like this account is not closed and it should be open, I'll attach a copy of my statement showing the account is open now. All right. And then I'm going to click on finish. Now, what it did was added this to my drafts. Now let's go over and take a look at what that shows. You're going to scroll down here and click on draft disputes. Now, whenever a dispute has been drafted, you'll have the opportunity to take a look at it and see what it actually says. So let's click on generate dispute letters, and then we're going to click on continue. Now, I do want to point something out. Currently, at the time of recording this video, Rising will only generate letters, and then they will allow you to print them out and you can send them off certified mail. However, there will be an option, hopefully by the end of the year, where you can actually send your disputes through Rising and you will no longer have to use the CFPB and you won't have to send letters whatsoever. So just keep a lookout for that. Once that actually does happen, I will keep you updated. Now, right now, it's actually going to show that when you send your dispute letters via US Postal Service, it's the best way to do it because of all the following reasons. Now, I'm just going to close that right now. If you want to preview your dispute letter, you can click on this paper with the eye, or you can actually just download it. So I'm going to click on the download option for our example. Now, when you download the letter, you will get some dispute letter instructions. Now it says that your envelope should include the dispute letter itself. You should add, like I always say in all of my disputes, you should add a copy of your photo ID, your driver's license, your passport, something like that, your proof of social security number. So you want to have a picture of your actual card attached to this. And then you also want to have proof of residency. Now, when it comes to sending these disputes, nothing will change with our dispute process. You will still do round 1 through 3. And remember, in round 1, you're asking for an initial investigation if we're doing a charge-off dispute. Now, this is a closed account, but I'm just letting you know, like, the process won't change. But what you'll do is include all of these documents. If you're sending a factual dispute, you'll actually want to send a screenshot of the report, which you can get from rising.com as well. If you go over back to your report and just take a screenshot. Now, once you go to your letter, it will include all of your personal information automatically. But for me, it's probably going to be blurred out, but it'll have your first name, last name. It'll have your address, your date of birth, your social. It'll also have TransUnion or whatever the credit bureau is, and then the place where you're going to be sending this letter. And then it'll say, "Dear TransUnion, I am writing to inform you of inaccuracies present on my credit report, which require immediate attention." So this is going to always be like the very beginning of the dispute. And this is dispute number 1, right? So it's already letting you know I've done this one time. This is the very first time. And again, you can add the number onto there. It will adjust. And this account is not closed. This account is not closed. It should be open. I'll attach a copy of my statement showing the account is open now. And then it's going to show that they request that the information be promptly deleted or updated, and they want you to provide the correct details within 30 days. So this is all that we need, right? Everything has already been done for us. Now, in most instances, you'll be able to download this, right? And then you'll be able to send this in the mail certified with a copy of driver's license, social, your proof of residency, all of this put together, and you can send off your dispute. Now, once you have actually sent your dispute, you want to click on Mark as Sent, and then you want to choose your method. So if it was sent certified mail, click on certified mail, click the date that it was actually sent, and then click Mark as Sent. Now, when you do that, you'll see the sent option here, right? And then you can come down and you can actually add your results. So let's say that you added the results, confirm, results needed. We're going to put that the account was updated, right? And everything was corrected. So account changed to open. And then we're going to click on save results. So it says, congratulations, this TransUnion letter is complete. You had a successful dispute, and then you'll click on continue. All right. So that one will now be moved into the completed section. So this will help you keep track of everything. But let's say I want to go back to my other ones, and I'll go back to Equifax and I'll confirm the response here. And then we're going to click verified as accurate. And then we're going to save the results. And then it'll say that you had one declined dispute, and then you will click on continue. Now that lets you know that you're going to continue with this dispute, right? Because that one, obviously, if it's declined, it's not going to go into the complete. And then you will see here, wow, I did not have a successful dispute. I need to go here and send another one. And then you will be able to go ahead and send another dispute on this one and then mark what happened after that. Now, one thing that I really love about Rising is that you can report your past rental payments up to 24 months. They can do back reporting. So if you were in a situation where you wanted to boost your credit score, like let's say maybe 25 or 30 points, if you were to back report 2 years of rental payments, you can see that boost. This will only report positive payment history. It will never report anything negative. So this can never hurt you. Now, there's 5 steps to doing this. You want to enter your rental address. You want to connect your bank account to identify your rental payments. You then want to input your username and password for that provider. And then you want to use 2-factor authentication in order to verify all the information. And then finally, you're done, and the account will actually be reported monthly, and it will boost your credit score. Now, the same thing works with your utilities. What you'll want to do is link your utilities by the provider. It can be power, gas, water, or even your phone bill, right? And they're going to report this for you, and then they'll track the progress. So you can do this again for backdated 24 months. And then if you have any additional questions, there's a FAQ right here, right? Like, what happens if I missed a payment? We only report on-time utility payments. So if you missed a payment or paid late, it simply won't be reported. Right? So this means that your utilities will never negatively impact your credit score, and neither will your rental reporting. Now, if you take a look at the rest of the cards, there are some things like increase your credit limit. So it tells you to learn more here. And then it gives you some information about how you can actually request a credit limit increase, and then some pro tips as well. And then it shows all of your credit cards that you can actually click on. And if you did call them, then click on marked as contacted. It also will give you options about being an authorized user. It tells you learn how, and then it gives you some information on exactly how you can potentially boost your credit score by being an authorized user. And then depending on your credit profile, you may actually see some VIP credit card offers. So if you do qualify for, let's say, exclusive rewards or other credit cards, you want to click on apply now if you're interested, and Rising will recommend some options that you can actually use. Now, let's talk about cost. One of the biggest reasons that I like Rising is because it's not built like a traditional credit repair company that'll charge you $100 or $200 every single month just to send out basic disputes. Rising is designed to give you the tools that you need to work on your credit, while also giving you access to your credit report and additional credit building features all in one place. So for example, my FICO will have a subscription that's around $39.95 per month for detailed 3 bureau credit monitoring and reports. With Rising, you're getting access to 3 bureau credit reports and scores, but you're also getting so much more than just monitoring. You get monthly 3 bureau credit reports and scores, your personalized game plan, inaccuracy disputing, utility payment reporting, up to 24 months of historical reporting with that, as well as rental reporting. You also get your score center, your goal tracking, your quick action guidance, some score factor education, and even that credit card guidance. So instead of paying for a credit monitoring service here, a credit building service there, and possibly paying another company to help you with disputes, Rising brings all of those tools together in a single platform. And honestly, if you're serious about fixing your credit, you should already be monitoring your scores anyway. You need to know what's reporting, you need to know what's changing, and you need to know what's helping you and also what's hurting you. That's why Rising makes so much sense. It's not just about seeing your score, it's about understanding your credit, building your credit, disputing inaccurate information, and having a clear plan of what to do next. So once again, if you want to try Rising today, I put a link in the description for a 7-day trial for $1. You can check that out and explore the platform and see if it's right for you. So here's the bottom line. Your credit score can affect almost every part of your financial life. It can determine whether you get approved or denied. It can also determine whether you pay low or high interest rates. It also can determine whether lenders see you as risky or reliable. And if your credit report has inaccurate, outdated, incomplete, or unverifiable negative information, you should not just sit there and accept it. You have rights. But the rights only matter when you actually exercise them. The old way of credit repair was downloading templates, mailing random letters, paying companies that barely explain what they're doing, and waiting months for results that never actually come. Rising gives you a smarter way to approach this process. It helps you review your credit report, identify possible dispute opportunities, create more personalized letters, and in the future, you'll actually be able to send your disputes via the mobile app or the website. This platform will also help you stay organized and take control of your own credit repair journey. Now, this doesn't mean every account will disappear overnight, but it does mean that you can stop relying on outdated methods and start using a system that's built for how credit repair should work today. So if you're tired of getting denied, you're tired of paying high interest, you're tired of seeing collections, late payments, charge-offs, or other questionable accounts dragging down your score, then it's time to stop ignoring your credit report and start taking action. You can click the link below or scan the QR code on screen to set up your Rising account today. Because the longer you wait, the longer those negative accounts can keep costing you money, and your credit is too important to leave it in the hands of a broken system. As always, thank you so much for watching this video, and you guys have a wonderful day.